the host. Okay.
Good morning. As President of Northern Essex Community College, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to our 57th annual commencement exercises. Buenos días. Como presidente de Northern Essex Community College, tengo el placer de darle la bienvenida a nuestra 57ª ceremonia de graduación anual. The proceedings will open with the national anthem sung by Carly Hamilton of Clastown, New Hampshire, a former Northern Essex student.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and wreckage regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wow. Carly, thank you for that amazing rendition of the national anthem. I think that is going to carry the Bruins all the way, huh? How about that? This is an exciting day for our graduates, their family and friends, and our Northern Essex Community College faculty and staff. And let me just say that the class of 2019 must be doing something right. This is the most spectacular weather day we have had for commencement perhaps ever. Congratulations, folks. So today we are going to award close to 1,100 very well-earned associate degrees and certificates to an amazingly talented group of graduates. Just before we get started, I have a question. Can everybody hear me okay out there on the edges? Can you hear me okay? Here's my question. Does anybody have a cell phone? If you have a cell phone, would you please hold it up like this, really, really high up in the air. I'm not even going to ask you to turn it off. Just hold it up really high. All right, you got it? Just like that. Okay. I just took your picture, and I tweeted it. You can check this out. I tweeted it to and hashtag NECC 2019. All right, you can find me out there on Twitter. Hashtag NECC 2019. I hope you'll do the same with the pictures that you're taking for Facebook and Twitter. By the way, folks, you can sit down. Thank you. I hope you'll do that with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and any social media that you're using today. Help us celebrate the class of 2019 and maybe win yourself something special. If you post a photo or a message to hashtag NECC 2019 before the end of the day tomorrow, we'll be sending out gift baskets for the best graduate group photo, the best cap and gown, the best photo with a teacher and a student, and the best family photo. So try your best there, make sure you use that hashtag. And by the way, for anyone in the crowd who's over 40, your kids will think you're a little bit or not hopelessly without it. If you do need some help with your pictures and your hashtagging, we actually have a social media team here this morning. Tia Roy, Sarah Comiskey, Ellen Small-Davis, and Ann Eschwald are all wearing bright pink NECC shirts. Social media team, wave your arms around so if somebody's near you, you know who you are. And over here, bright pink t-shirts, they'll help you out. And back by popular demand, our friends at HC Media are going to be recording today's commencement for rebroadcasting, and they're live streaming it on their website and at Facebook Live. So if you visit HC Media, or if you want to tell family and friends who couldn't make it today to visit that site, they can watch the proceedings live. It's a great joy for me to be here celebrating the Northern Essex Community College class of 2019, one of the most diverse and civically engaged classes in our history and in the entire state of Massachusetts. Community colleges are sometimes called democracy colleges. We're a uniquely American invention. We really are. We're not found in very many other places in the world. Affordable, local colleges whose doors are open to absolutely everyone. Our mission is to meet students where they are and to help them get where they want to be. Based on the education that all of you have received here at Northern Essex, the hard work you've invested, you should be well prepared to transfer to a full-year college or university, or to start your career, and also to make meaningful contributions to the world around you. And I'd like to take just a couple of minutes to highlight a few of the graduates in today's class who, besides being very successful academically, have also proven to be exceptional individuals who are committed to making the world a better place. First of all, Lucia Rondon of Lawrence is graduating today with a degree in public health. Lucia and her family were supported by public and private agencies and organizations when her younger brother, Leonel, became a lone fatality in the Merrimack Valley gas explosions last September. The entire Lawrence community came together to advocate for the Rondons who found themselves immersed in what became a very public tragedy. This experience reinforced Lucia's desire to work in the public health field. The 29-year-old wants to help others in her community by decreasing social disparities and language barriers around health-related issues. With 8 years of experience as a certified nursing assistant, her public health degree, and her empathy, she should be well prepared to achieve those goals. Lucia is the single mother of an 11-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl, and the first in her family to graduate from college. That deserves a round of applause. She's planning to transfer in the fall to our partner, Regis North, where she'll earn her bachelor's in public health. So congratulations, Lucia. Also graduating today is Catherine Harrison of Haverhill with a degree in liberal arts, our writing option. Catherine graduated from the carpentry program at Whittier Vocational Technical High School in 2016. Some carpenters out there, woo. Being one of the few females in the program gave her an appreciation for issues around gender equality. When Catherine arrived at Northern Essex and joined our Contemporary Affairs Club, she said she gained the confidence to go out into the community and make change where I could. She took an internship as campaign manager for a woman running for Haverhill City Council, and she's been working on political campaigns ever since, focusing on women's health and workplace issues. This year, she was named a Newman Civic Fellow, which is a national program recognizing community-committed students who are change makers and public problem solvers. In the fall, Catherine will transfer to UMass Lowell, where she'll make
all that space up there. You don't really need to see all of this because there's nothing to see there. That's a good shot. Okay, cool shot for 20 seconds. Right? Then you're gonna
Caitlin Richardson of Wilmington
pan over,
with a certificate in deaf studies, sign
get,
language,
some other
when
people.
Caitlin arrived on campus in the
Then you
fall
can go,
of 2017, she had already earned a bachelor's degree in health science with a minor in biology from James Madison University. Her goal in coming to Northern Essex was to learn American Sign Language before beginning graduate studies. Caitlin wants to be a physician's assistant, specializing in patients that are deaf and hard of hearing and
You leave it
blind.
for 20 seconds.
While at Northern
Leave it
Essex,
for
she's
you to vomit,
immersed
wait,
herself
half a
in guest
minute,
studies,
whatever, you know.
mastering the
And then
language
just go
and
get another
completing
one.
2 honors
Okay?
projects.
And just keep doing
She
it.
also
Because
volunteers
right
as
now,
a deaf and blind support
I
service
don't have enough
specialist
stuff
at
to
the
run you
Radio
a
Home for the
headset,
Deaf.
so you're going to kind of have to
Caitlin
focus on
is
it.
actually interpreting
So,
during the
you'll be
commencement
fine. As long
ceremony
as you do
today.
that, you don't lose all the time.
We celebrate Caitlin for her commitment to a healing field and her compassion for those whose access to health care has often been limited. So congratulations, Caitlin. So for all of the students graduating today, earning your certificates and degrees is an impressive accomplishment. Transferring to a university and completing a 4-year bachelor's degree and maybe graduate studies or finding a job in your dream field will be tremendously satisfying. And finding your way to contribute meaningfully to the world around you with the resources and the talents that you possess, like Lucia, like Catherine, like Caitlin, that will be the biggest reward of them all. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you the dignitaries and the honored guests who joined us for this special occasion. If you would please hold your applause until the very end. Trust me, you'll know when to let it rip. Will the following individuals who are seated on the platform please rise as your names are announced? First to my right, I'd like to introduce Jeff Linehan, the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Northern Essex Community College. Chris Gabrielli, the Chairman of the Board of Higher Education for the state of Massachusetts. Bob Rivers, the Chair and CEO of Eastern Bank and our commencement speaker here today. And Dr. Noemi Custodialora, Vice President of the Lawrence Campus and Community Relations. In the second row, Mark Palermo, our Faculty Grand Marshal. William Cox, Trustee. Ronald Gilmet, Trustee. And Sally O'Rourke, Trustee. And to my left, Gene Poff, Vice President of Institutional Advancement, Mike McCarthy, Vice President of Administration and Finance, Dexis Echevarria, our student speaker, who will receive her Associate in Science degree in Biology today, and Bill Heineman, Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs. And in the second row, Stephen Fabrucci, Vice President of Human Resource Development, Mark Foreman, Trustee, Mary Ann Kelly Miguel, Trustee, Kelly Soretsky, Dean of Institutional Research, Planning and Effectiveness, and Kimberly Burns, Dean of Innovation and Professional Development. And in the audience today, we have some members of our legislative delegation. From the 1st Essex District, our elected official who has proven that a woman's place is in the House and in the Senate, former state representative and now state senator, Diana DeZoglio. Glad she's with us here today. A long-term supporter of Northern Essex Community College and Higher Education, Representative Frank Moran from the 17th Essex District. And one of the newest and already hardest working members of our state delegation, State Representative Christina Minicucci from the 14th Essex District. Also in the audience today, we have former Northern Essex Community College trustee Dahlia Diaz, Mayor Donna Holliday from the city of Newburyport, and seated in our front row, we have the president of the Women of NECC, Jerry Murphy, Elaine Linehan, wife of the chairman of the board, Jeff Linehan, my wife, Margaret Glenn, and my father, retired United States Marine Corps member Raymond Glenn. At this time, if you're a veteran, an active, retired, or reserve member of U.S. Armed Forces, would you please stand and be recognized? We thank you for your service, and thanks to all of our guests for being here today. The commencement ceremonies today are being interpreted in American Sign Language by professional interpreters and student interpreters from our Sign Language Certificate program. We are also providing part communication access real-time translation services. So each year, the faculty and staff recommend outstanding students for a commencement speaker based on their academic standing and their contributions to the college and to the community. Our committee carefully reviews the nominations, and based on their recommendations, I choose the student speaker. This year, Dexi Echevarria, who's graduating with high honors and a degree in biology, was selected for this honor. When she was 17, Dexi left her home country of Cuba for the very first time. 5 years later, now 22, she has learned English, graduated from Lawrence High School, and earned her associate degree, all while working to support herself. Dexi wants to be a medical doctor, and all of us who know her have absolutely no doubt she'll achieve that goal. This highly motivated young woman has proven repeatedly that she will be successful in whatever she sets out to do. parents were both doctors in Cuba, and this is what originally interested her in medicine. She says she's fascinated with the complexity of the human body and wants to solve the most challenging medical cases. This summer, she's landed a highly competitive STEM Station 1 fellowship with Benwu Global, a research and development firm in Lowell. And in the fall, she'll transfer to a four-year college or university, likely Marymount College, to study biochemistry. Supporting Jexie today is her mother, Jexie Ortiz, who is now a social worker in Miami. Jexie, you've accomplished so much in your short life. You inspire us and certainly inspire me. Thank you for representing the class of 2019 as our student speaker.
Good morning, everyone, and congratulations to the class of 2019. Receiving this diploma today is not a small achievement. We had piles of homework to do and hours of classes to attend, all while dealing with everyday problems like how we're going to pay the rent and whether our car will make it through another winter. We did it. My name is Jexie Seshibaria, and as President Glenn said, I am a biology major. I was born in Cuba, and I came to the United States in 2013 when I was 17 years old. In my country, there was very little technology, no computers, no internet, no calculator, no email, no cell phone. Can you imagine getting by without Google or Wikipedia? It may sound surprising, but I am grateful for that experience. It's what helped me learn to adapt when I came to this country, speaking very little English. Just some colors, numbers, and good morning. What I discovered as a result of the way I was brought up is that humans are capable of learning anything. There really aren't a lot of tools required, just a human brain and a book, or a teacher. I still remember my first impressions of the United States. So many things were new to me. I flew into Miami with my mom and my brother. My father, who was in the United States first, picked us up and drove us all the way to Lawrence because we couldn't afford to fly. During that road trip, I had my first taste of McDonald's. The buildings here were so high that if you looked at them from inside a car, you could not see the top. All the cars were new, unlike the horses and cars from the 1950s on the streets of Cuba. In Cuba, the food is ration, and every family gets a share of rice or cooking oil that is supposed to last a month. Here, I could eat cookies and chocolate bars and all the food I never had in Cuba. Yes, I did gain some weight during my first few months in the United States. The pay scale is also very different. Both of my parents were doctors in Cuba, with an education similar to American doctors, but they make a lot less, $22 a month. Sometimes not even that much. When I arrived here, I realized that my life had drastically changed. Now that I was in a new country, I had to start from zero with a language I couldn't speak and a new culture. The first thing I did when I arrived in Lawrence was enroll in high school. I was a junior, and I was placed on level 1, which is the lowest English level. In Cuban schools, we compete aggressively with each other because jobs are very limited, and you have to get better grades than everyone else to get the job you want. This was my mindset when I arrived here, so it was very hard being the student in my school who knew the least. It was a turning point. I told myself, okay, Gypsies, you're not going back. This is your life now. Instead of worrying about what everyone else knows, why don't you just worry about learning stuff? I focused on learning, and guess what? In 1 year, I had the English skills to move to the Math, Science, and Technology High School in Lawrence. And in 2 years, I was taking college-level English classes. What I discovered is that when you focus on pure learning and not a grade, magic happens. I'm not going to say that learning is easy. It requires a lot of hard work and discipline. But learning is necessary if we're going to reach our goals, and it's so exciting to master something new. I am a biology major, and my goal is to go to medical school and cure rare diseases. Many people think that I want to be a medical doctor because of my parents. Although they've influenced me, that is not the main reason why I've chosen this career path. What draws me to the medical field is the miracle of life. Our bodies are so complex that it is a wonder we exist. We're made of iron and oxygen and other chemicals that are part of the soil and non-living things. And yet, we breathe, and we walk, and we talk, and we feel. This is the most fascinating thing to me. What is that excites you? Do you love to write? Is your passion caring for others? Do you get a kick out of solving a complex math problem? I hope all of you found something that delights you as much as the complexity of the human body delights me. When you have a passion, it gives you a reason to get up in the morning, a purpose in life. In closing, I want to share something that I know for sure. You cannot accomplish much of anything alone. You need people to support you. I want to thank my family, all my professors, Liliana, Habib, Professor Paul, Emily, Sheila, my physics professor, Mr. Leifert, Mike Cross, Ernie, David, and Trace in the Math Center. Also my English professor, and Marsha, and everyone in my work-study job where I tutor adults in basic education courses. I also want to thank my boyfriend, Jonathan, as an engineering student who I met at Northern Essex. Jonathan helped me every time I could not solve a math problem, and his family has been so supportive. Lastly, I want to thank my advisor, Sarah Corshane. Sarah, the word thank you does not begin to cover how much I appreciate all your help. Thanks for never disappointing me, for always replying to my emails on weekends when I was frustrated and I didn't know what to do. Whenever I said, Sarah, you need to take a break from all of us, you always tell me I do not take breaks from my students. You believed in me, and I hope to make you proud. Thank you to the company for allowing me to share my story. Thank you, everyone. And now, who's ready to graduate?
Lexi, thank you so much for sharing your story so generously with you, and what a wonderful story it is. Certainly, one of the things that I tell every member of the platform party up here is you're going to see 1,000 stories across the stage today. Every student who's graduating has a story to tell, and all of them, if they were given this microphone, I know would also stand up here and look down the first few rows and thank the tremendously talented and passionately committed faculty and staff we have here at Northern Essex Community College. So for all the students out there who would like to do that, say thank you to your faculty and staff here and the tremendous talent they've shown and the coaching and mentoring they've done with you. How about a round of applause for them, please? Thank you again, Betsy. And now the traditional gift of the graduating class will be announced by the President of the Student Government Association, Matthew Day, an engineering science major. Matthew. You've got a fan club, Matt. They're cheering for you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you, President Glenn, faculty, staff, friends, family, and of course, the graduating class of 2019. Each year, the Student Government Association presents a gift on behalf of the graduating classes to the college. This year, the Student Government Association is proud to provide funding and oversight for a student lounge in the newly renovated Dimitri building located in the Lawrence campus. In addition to this year's class gift, student government has also made multiple contributions to the NECC Foundation towards student leader scholarships. As President Glenn would agree, the opportunity that you have given yourself through NECC is something to be proud of, to cherish, and to remember in your future endeavors. This is your community college, and congratulations to the graduating class of 2019.
Thank you, Matt, and the class of 2019. Your gift will be greatly appreciated by students for years to come. We appreciate that very much. Today's commencement speaker is Bob Rivers, who's been an executive leader at Eastern Bank for the past 13 years and was named the bank's chairman and CEO in 2017. Under Bob's leadership, Eastern Bank has delivered record financial results and grown to more than 120 locations and $11 billion in assets. But none of that is why we invited him to be today's commencement speaker. I have the greatest respect for Bob's business skills, but what impresses me the most is his passionate commitment to social justice and his personal involvement in the communities that Eastern serves. Under his leadership, Eastern Bank has adopted the slogan, "Join us for good." Yes, it's an appeal to lifelong customers, but it's also a tremendous, bold statement of purpose. Bob has consistently used his platform as a bank president to rally support for corporate inclusivity and fight discrimination based on race, gender, or sexual orientation. He was a leading voice on the successful Yes on 3 transgender rights ballot in Massachusetts and has advocated for the advancement of women and the growth of minority-owned businesses. As a company, Eastern Bank reflects this commitment to social justice and contributes 10% of its net earnings each year to charities, including organizations that support rights for immigrants, women, and the LGBTQIA community. Bob and Eastern also regularly invest in underrepresented and underserved communities. Eastern Bank has branches in 12 of the 26 gateway cities in Massachusetts, including Lawrence, where not long ago they opened the first new retail bank branch in that city in more than 20 years. In fact, Lawrence is what originally drew Bob and I together. Bob was a founding member of an organization that we helped create called the Lawrence Partnership. It's a private-public collaboration dedicated to economic development and improving the quality of life in the city of Lawrence. Over the past 5 years, the partnership has helped improve the workforce, invest in small businesses, add jobs, and recover from the September gas explosions and more. Those accomplishments don't show up on the bank's balance sheet, but they're a tremendous investment in social justice here in the Merrimack Valley. Bob, you've demonstrated that doing the right thing can be good for business, and as a result, are a role model for other corporate leaders and for colleges like Northern Essex. We appreciate your support for ACC and the communities we serve, and I'm proud to introduce you as our commencement speaker.
Well, good morning. And thank you, President Glenn. Thank you so much for that very kind introduction. And congratulations to all of you, the Northern Essex Community College Class of 2019. I also want to offer my congratulations to Jexie. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey, all that you've accomplished to this point. You are indeed a hard act to follow at the podium, and certainly in life. Best wishes to you for the future. I also might offer my congratulations as well to your families, your friends, and other supporters, as well as the college's faculty, administration, and board of trustees, who all played a vital role in making this celebration possible. Please join me in giving all of them a round of applause. Now, I will tell you, as someone who started my career as a teller and a bank janitor, I am truly honored and indeed quite surprised to be here today. I am also extremely humbled to be asked to do this. Unlike the typical event speeches that so many of us are asked or will be asked to give as part of our professional lives, delivering a commencement address is a truly special opportunity and, frankly, a daunting responsibility. After all, it is not often that you get the chance to play a role, albeit a very small one, in one of the most memorable moments for so many people. Like the day of your wedding, the birth of your children, or the death of a loved one, graduations, whether they be from high school or from college, are those by which we so often come to mark time in our lives as we think back upon the years that passed since this special day. On such a landmark occasion, one often reflects upon what got you to this point, especially the many people in our lives who made this moment possible. For me, this list begins at home with my parents. My dad, who coached my team in every sport I ever played, and when he put me on skates at age 4, learned to skate himself at the same time, and who insisted that I apply for a summer teller position 37 years ago instead of packing groceries with my friends from high school, which is what I really wanted to do instead. My mom, who instilled the importance of education, discipline, and hard work, as well as a growing sense of the importance of equal access and opportunity for all. My mother grew up in Dorchester, and when you ask her on what street, she will tell you it depends. It depends on what year. Because as the daughter of working class parents, they were regularly priced out by increases in their rent that forced them to move on a regular basis. 63 years ago, my mother graduated at the top of her high school class, and at that school, the valedictorian traditionally received a full scholarship to college. As someone who grew up very poor, this financial award was a life changer and put in reach a degree that was otherwise a distant dream. However, there was a catch. Her high school had never before had a female valedictorian and decided that such an investment in a young woman was not worthwhile. So instead, they gave it to the person ranked second in her class, a young man. Thankfully, her mother, my grandmother, was a force to be reckoned with. And ultimately, the school relented and gave my mother a full scholarship as well. Later, my mother became the first in her family to graduate college and went on to a master's degree while teaching young people back in Dorchester for over 30 years. Later in my life, it was my ex-wife, who, when she decided to express her true sexual identity, was rejected by those closest to her. In college, it was Professor Bill Burke at Stonehill, whose philosophy of aiming high for the seemingly unreachable became one of my own guiding principles. Because of an assignment he gave me in my senior year, I set a goal to be the president of the largest bank based in Boston by the time I was 40. A frankly outrageous ambition that I certainly never thought possible as a lower middle class kid, but that I nonetheless achieved at age 42. As it turns out, age 42 was coincidentally profound for me, particularly with respect to influences that I never met, like Ben Franklin, yes, the very famous forefather of our country, who at age 42 decided that his life was half over and sold his printing businesses to become the statesman, diplomat, and inventor for which he is better known today. As it turns out, he was exactly right. He died at age 84. And it was the age at which the late Senator Robert F. Kennedy, for whom I am named, was assassinated following his victory in the Democratic presidential primary in California in 1968. Taking a cue from both of them, I decided to leverage my position and resources at Eastern to advance change and justice as they did. Although initially a person of very limited financial resources, I came to understand how truly privileged I was nonetheless as a straight white male. Through many friendships and associations with those not of my own experience, I have come to more deeply and personally understand continued conditions that impede equal rights and opportunity in our society and in the workplace. As a person now of relative privilege in almost every way, I have come to recognize that I have an opportunity and indeed a responsibility to help drive necessary change and progress that has taken far too long to achieve. When I look out at all of you, I see our region's present and more vibrant future. What I don't see is the same picture among the corporate boards and C-suites of Greater Boston, and that will compromise our region's future if we don't all do something about it. I am proud to say, thank you. I am proud to say that today, Eastern's board and our most senior management team is 50% women, people of color, and others whom are considered diverse, such as those of the LGBTQ community. However, when you look at the boards and top management of most other private companies in Massachusetts, less than 20% are comprised of women, and less than half that percentage are considered diverse, as compared with 2/3 of the state's population. That means that straight white men make up 3/4 of our business community, even though those that look like me comprise only half that, just 1/3 of the Commonwealth residents. That's right, overrepresentation by 2 to 1, whereas everyone else, all women, all people of color, all those of the LGBTQ community, are underrepresented by half. Given this, is it any wonder that pay inequity, discriminatory workplace practices and culture, and the widening wealth gap, highly correlated across gender and racial lines, are among the most troubling issues we face today? Thankfully, business leaders are increasingly recognizing that greater diversity at the highest levels is not only a moral imperative, but an economic one. They are beginning to understand that developing a more robust collective mindset, made so by those with different experiences and perspectives, is becoming more critical as they are faced with more complex challenges than ever in a more rapidly changing world. Today's leaders are increasingly embracing the idea that greater social and economic justice is not only right, but smart. That their personal and their company's reputation and brand, their ability to attract the best talent, the performance of their business, and the strength of our community and our economy, indeed, their very relevance and survival depend upon it. It is a recognition that diversity and inclusion and engendering a true sense of belonging in one's organization is not about aesthetics, not about window dressing, not about marketing images, but about developing the best strategic thinking towards achieving long-term success. However, despite these powerful forces of self-interest, so necessary for change to truly be sustainable, the impetus and instrument for such change will come from all of us here today. Herein lies your opportunity and your responsibility for each of you to do what you can to see the world as it is and not ask why, but instead to see the world as it could be and ask why not. This is the very same question I began to ask myself when I looked around at those in my position in business and saw only people who looked like me looking back. We must all show up, stand up, speak up, provide insight, and take meaningful, constructive, and intentional action to exercise the moral courage to engage others in this pursuit. In short, you must aim high, not only in your chosen field, but in your ideals, in your beliefs, and in your expectations of others and our society. And if you happen to fall short, know that you and our community and our country will be so much farther ahead, so much better, than if you had settled for what others might consider more reasonable expectations. Given all that you've accomplished through your perseverance and drive and sacrifice to be here today, among the most memorable of all of your days, I know that you are well equipped to undertake this challenge. With that in mind, I wish you the very best for continued success, and once again offer my most hearty congratulations on all that you have achieved. Congratulations.
Thank you for that inspiring and important message. You know, I'm in awe of absolutely everything that you've done to create positive change, and I'm especially appreciative of your contributions to the college and to our local communities. As a founding member of the Lawrence Partnership, you provided leadership in creating that private-public sector organization focused on encouraging economic development and improving the quality of life in Lawrence. And over the past 5 years, under your direction, Eastern Bank has donated more than $500,000 to Haverhill and Lawrence nonprofits, including Northern Essex Community College. The Community Partner Award that the college has created this year, specifically to recognize the people and organizations the college works with who are most valuable in helping us accomplish our mission, was inspired, Bob, in large part by you and by Eastern Bank, and I cannot imagine a more worthy first recipient of this award. And, inspired by Bob and Eastern Bank and our Community Partner Award, I would like to ask Dr. Paul St. Amand to come to the stage, please, and join me for the presentation of another inaugural award. Community colleges across America and Northern Essex, right here in Haverhill and in Lawrence, are, as I mentioned earlier, often referred to as democracy's colleges. Since our founding in 1961, the doors of Northern Essex have been open to absolutely everyone. Our vision statement is to create a supportive learning environment of cultural inclusion that embraces all identities and inspires initiative and excellence. We achieve that vision by reaching out to all students, especially those who have been underrepresented in higher education, and providing them with the support they need to accomplish their educational goals. Here at NECC, more than half of our students are Hispanic, African American, Asian, or Native American. Nearly half are the first member of their family to attend college. Many are immigrants, including a number of undocumented students, and almost two-thirds come from low-income families. This year, we're honoring the college's deep social justice roots by creating a special award. The Social Justice Award will recognize individuals, groups, departments, or initiatives that promote values such as a commitment to equity and diversity or the advancement of human rights and social justice. And it will come with a cash prize of $1,961. In honor of the year the college was founded, that will be used to enhance social justice initiatives. Dr. Paul St. Amand joined Northern Essex's English faculty 11 years ago after teaching for many years in upstate New York. He retired from NECC last year, and Paul, you're greatly missed, I will tell you that. A Vietnam-era veteran, he's committed to peace and to supporting our veterans, and he's also actively encouraged his students to experience the benefits of community service and service learning. While teaching in New York, he founded the Peace Poetry Project, a contest for school and college-age students, and luckily he brought that project with him to NECC. This year we celebrated our 11th annual Peace Poetry Contest and reading. Since the program started here, we have received close to 12,000 poems from local school children. The top submissions are selected for a printed book of poetry and to be read aloud at an event held in early May each year. Dr. St. Amand also created a veterans writing group for our students, a place where students who have served in the military could tell their stories in a supportive and encouraging environment. And in addition, he was a faculty representative on our Civic Engagement and Service Learning Advisory Board and instigated community service projects for students, such as opportunities for student volunteers to work in election day polls. Paul, for all you've done to promote peace on this campus and in the community and around the world, to help ease the transition to college for veterans and to promote community service and service learning, it is my great pleasure to announce that you are the first recipient of the Northern Essex Community College Social Justice Award. As part of this year's commencement ceremony, I'm pleased and honored to confer the rank of emeritus status on 4 longtime members of the college's faculty and staff. At NECC, the rank of emeritus is an honor that recognizes sustained excellence in performance, character, and meritorious service to the college. Jane Gagliardi, would you please join me up on stage? Jane was a clinical social worker and therapist for 25 years before joining the Human Services faculty at NECC in 2001. She retired last year as coordinator of the program. Jane once said, "I usually think my favorite class is the particular one I am teaching in any given semester." She brought this enthusiasm and her real-world experience to every class she taught. She loved teaching, and her students certainly loved her. Jane was also an extremely effective coordinator, assuring the program's curriculum met the needs of the community. It's my pleasure to name Jane Gagliardi Professor Emerita of Human Services. Charlene Kennedy, would you please join me on the stage? Our second emeritus recipient is Charlene Kennedy, who along with her partner, Susan Sanders, was the face of Northern Essex's theater program for more than 30 years. In addition to teaching, Charlene directed 2 full-length shows each year, productions that ranged from Shakespeare to Broadway musicals. She also acted alongside her students, most famously in the college's annual production of A Christmas Carol, which she starred in and directed for 15 years. Charlene's legacy is the many Northern Essex graduates who are working professionally as actors, directors, stagehands, and costume designers. It is my honor to name Charlene Kennedy Professor Emerita of Theater. Joe LeBlanc, can you join me on the stage, please? Joe joined the English faculty at Northern Essex in 1988. For more than a decade, he was faculty advisor to the Observer, NECC's award-winning student newspaper, and coordinator of the college's journalism program. Joe was demanding but well-loved and greatly respected. Under his leadership, the Observer received national and regional recognition, which it continues to do to this day. Later, Joe served in multiple roles with the Massachusetts Community College Council, the statewide organization of faculty and professional staff, including its local chapter president and president of the statewide organization. He provided leadership for the MCCC while continuing to teach at the college until last year. It's my pleasure to announce that Joseph LeBlanc is now Professor Emeritus of English. And finally, Karen Blanchard Mitchell, please join me on the stage. Karen Mitchell was the first in her family to earn a college degree, and she devoted her career to helping other first-generation students succeed in college. She joined Northern Essex as a career and academic counselor in 1993, and in 1997 she was named director of the PACE program, a federally funded program that provides support services for disadvantaged students. Under Karen's leadership, the college's PACE program became a national model, ranked by the U.S. Department of Education as one of the 10 best and most effective student support services programs in the entire nation. She's been an influential force for student success, and it is an honor to name her Director Emerita of Pathways to Academic and Career Excellence. I would now like to welcome Ronald Gilmet, who is the alumni elected representative of the college's Board of Trustees and a member of the Alumni Association Board. Ron will announce and present the Outstanding Alumni Award.
Still morning. Good morning. My name is Ron Gilmet, and on behalf of the NECC Alumni Board, I would like to extend my sincere congratulations to all our graduates. We alumni share in your pride and joy on this special day and officially welcome you as the newest members of the NECC Alumni Association. The Outstanding Alumni Award is granted annually to an NECC alum who has achieved success in his or her profession, is active in the community, or has continuously supported the college's efforts. This year's recipient has done all this and much more. A longtime Haverhill resident, he has served as a prominent advocate of statewide workforce development initiatives for over 40 years. For nearly 20 of these years, he worked at the Boston Private Industrial Council, where he managed year-round job programs and summer youth programs at Boston's 17th Public High School. He later served as Executive Director of the Career Place, a one-stop center in Woburn, and as Director and Commissioner of the Massachusetts Department of Career Services, a unit within the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development. More recently, he took on a leading role in enhancing NECC's career service programs through his position as Executive Director of the Center for Corporate and Community Education. Now retired, we know that that legacy of his work will have a positive impact at the college for years to come. On top of all this, our 2019 recipient is a veteran of the United States Navy and an active volunteer on the boards of numerous regional organizations, including the Havel YMCA, the Havel Board of Appeals, Roots House, and the Mount Washington Alliance. We are grateful for the decades of unwavering commitment he has devoted to bettering our community. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present to you the winner of the 2019 Outstanding Alumni Award, Mr. George Moriarty. George.
Thank you, Ron. Congratulations, George. Certainly very well earned. Are you ready? We're just about there. Vice President Bill Heineman, would you please come to the lectern for the awarding of the degrees?
Finally, right? On behalf of the faculty and staff, it's my distinct honor to introduce that part of the ceremony that all of the candidates and their families have been waiting for. You've all worked extremely hard and are certainly deserving of the degrees and certificates that are about to be conferred. Chairman Linehan, it is my very great pleasure to present the class of 2019. Faculty has certified that they have met all of the requirements for their degrees and certificates.
Good morning. We're close. Can I have the candidates all rise? The Board of Trustees, in accordance with the recommendation of the faculty and the President of Northern Essex Community College, and with the authority conferred by the Department of Higher Education of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, hereby award the degree of Associates in Arts, Associates in Science, Associates in Applied Science, and appropriate certificates to the graduating class of 2019. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Vice Presidents Dr. William Heineman and Dr. Noemi Custodio-Loro will present the graduates for diploma.
Cavalier, high honors. Luis Robles, high honors. Eddie Tisco, high honors. Erika Ayala, honors. Amanda Borgard, honors. Darla Boyer, honors. Jamie Erin Cannon, honors. Danilo X. Correa, honors. Nicola J. Crawford, honors. Caitlin A. Eaton, honors. Tina A. Greenwood, honors. Lauren M. Buchanan, honors. Anne N. Kinky, high honors. Melanie K. Knight, honors. Ashley Lauder. Amanda H. Lincoln, high honors. Houston N. Mahoney, honors. Lisa J. McCormick, honors. Erin McGrail, honors. Lara X. Godwin, high honors. Maria A. Mendieta, honors. Hilda N. Cuba, high honors. Erica K. O'Flaherty, high honors. Nicole A. Fatuna, honors. Susanna Kingston,
Leah L. Rogers, honors. Laura N. Sassy, honors. Claire E. Vasco-Bennett, honors. Sarah E. Wachovia, high honors. Teresa Wysocki, honors. Jaylene J. Aguirre, honors. Natasia Concepcion, high honors. Lydia M. Davia Ramirez. Melinda Dong, honors. Amanda L. Green, high honors. Jesse J. Liriano, honors. Jeanette Lucas, honors. Gadari Marte, honors. Rafael B. Martinez. Jessica R. McCarthy, honors. Kirby Patel, honors. Renee T. Pearson, high honors. Madeline Sang, honors. Janine Santiago. Aaron R. Thibodeau, honors. Julia E. Vaden Boncour, honors. Tanya M. Zimmerman, high honors. Laura A. Alfandri.
Melissa S. Arad. Jasmine Bonilla. Jared L. Hoffman. Eduardo S. de los Santos. Laura J. Drago. Luis A. Sterry, high honor. Jacqueline M. Carver. Charbel C. Casey. Jessica C. Rito, honor. Yahaira F. Quintero, high honor. Orquídea Y. Jimenez. Aida M. Santana. Peter Surajane, high honor. Samantha Wong. Terry Barr. Husseina X. Noah, honor. Al J. Caroli. Deborah P. Campagna, high honor. Natasha N. Clark. Olga Albert, high honor. Anna P. Barahona, high honor. Mosley Coffey. Michael P. Martin. Francesca Perez Garcia, honor.
Cheryl A. Quinn, high honor. Leanne C. Rogers, high honor. Samantha C. Vex, honor. Nikki C. Maria. David F. Anderson, honor. Pamela F. Angelina. Cynthia Arias, honor. Michael Baskin. Scott R. Bowman, honor. Eric P. Burdett, high honor. Granny R. Camillo. Delaney Castillo, honor. Domingo A. Cruz. Yuri A. De Los Santos. Janelle F. C. Fabian, honor. Spencer D. Fournier, honor. Raina A. Jerome, honor. Teresa Hatani, honor. Kathleen Hernandez, honor.
Danielle A. Peterson. Julie M. Scott. William Lopez. Eduardo P. Martinez, honor. Marianotis A. Gonzalez, honor. Robert R. Pina. Jordan N. Taylor, high honor. Sarah J. Santiago, honor. Lisa M. Thorne. Brianna M. Trinity. Michelle McRae, high honors. Vernon P. Washington, high honors. Megan E. Verdi, honors. Angelique C. Mori, high honors. Jean M. Norton, high honors. Allison E. O'Brien. Lydia Palmeri, high honors. Robert Y. Kennedy, honors. Raymond R. Stacy, honors. Brian Acosta. Patrick J. Ross, honors. Paola Evelyn Polo, honors. Audrey and Soto, honors. Stuart E. Farmer, honors. Raymond A. Wilson, honors.
Dallas McCall, honors. Rhea S. Patel, high honors. Georgia K. Riley, high honors. Brendan L. Romero, high honors. Olivia Severio. Teresa A. Eaton, high honors. Lawrence P. Linnell, high honors. Ricardo Tejada. Alex W. Messina, high honors. Brendan and Lisa, high honors. Joshua Lisa, honors. Nora S. Reagan, high honors. Ismael Celia. Melvin Calderon, high honors. Cameron D. Dunlop. Kenneth A. Origo, high honors. Christopher C. Gardella, honors. Robert J. Gleason. Benjamin G. Martin. Matthew N. McKinley, honors. Daniel A. Miller, honors. Ricky E. Balarte. Kyle G. Scott, high honors. Junior M. De Los Santos Solano. Amir Gonzalez. Arshad Ali.
Andrew J. Sahabi, high honors. Elizabeth Echeverria, honors. Daniel R. Gomez. Amber J. Hernandez, high honors. Suzanne N. Huberman, high honors. Terry Girawan, high honors. Adam J. Kingston, high honors. Drew H. Lee, honors. Dean Ashby, honored. Michael A. Nichols, honored. Sarah Lynn, high honor. Lisa P. Carter Buckley, honored. Melody Dikla, honored. Tia L. McIntyre, high honor. Patrick James Anderson, high honor. Reed Evan Gonzalez. Emily J. Mexicana. Jennifer James. Javier Javier.
Amber J. LaFawn, high honor. Michael E. Montario, high honor. Sarah E. Paschal, honor. Brittany A. Weaver, high honor. Stephanie Rivera. Kimberly A. Torres. James E. Traverso. Angela Santos, honors. Charles C. Wood, honors. Adriana M. Ronald, honors. Asia K. Carmona. Francis N. Brand, high honor. Margaret R. Matthew, high honor. Samantha L. O'Leary, high honor. Eric Sanchez. Nicole St. Pierre, high honor. Samantha L. Schubert, honor. Sarah A. Zampa, high honor. Allison U. Olepio, high honor. Constance N. Bodema, high honor. Kaylee N. Bell. Miranda A. Bogwell, high honor. Ashley E. Green, high honor. Keegan R. Evans, honor. Sarah A. Finley, high honor.
Paul A. Green, high honor. Terry Love, honor. Samantha S. Lepari, high honor. Jessica L. Richardson, honor. Samantha K. Real, high honor. Kyla D. Riley, high honor. Ryan M. Benitez, high honor. Monica H. Strong, high honor. Ashley Ty, honor. Emily P. Walker, honor. Diana Escanero, honor. April Randy, honor. Lisa P. Ruby, honor. Marty Webb. Abigail E. Jackson, honor. Rebecca L. Harrison, high Mariana Lucina. Jenny Molina, high honor. Annalie Bennett, high honor. Natalia Brown, honor. Beverly Estina, honor. Natalia Tucker, high honor.
Andrea A. Trondoff-Sinatra, honor. Natalia Peroni, honor. Patricia Mesquita, honor. Francisco J. Jimenez, high honor. Denise R. Mundando, honor. Angelica Aviles, honor. Alexandra A. Quiros, high honor. Lisa A. Baruch, honor. Jennifer R. Curtis, high honor. Deanna M. Denmark, high honor. Caitlin J. DeFalco, honor. Stephen E. Schwinn. Marissa R. Gallagher, honor. Paula D. Guerrero, honor. Talia. Olivia S. Perry, high honor. Mackenzie Terrell. Mackenzie Terrell, honor. Megan D. King. Alyssa Maldonado, honor. And Lily Paula Hernandez, high honor. Christina L. Pereira, honor. Colby L. Keith, high honor. Caitlin T. Spatafora, honor. Allison M. Tapley, high honor. Ashley Itato, honor.
Maria Villa. Emily Everett, honor. Catherine Imani, honor. Olivia R. Gomez, honor. Sharon A. Miguel. Angelica Rivera, high honor. Christina E. Young, high honor. Oliver Anizaga, high honor. Maria E. Beata, honor. Diana N. Galati, high honor. Jason F. Donoghue, honor. Tessa Fernandez. Olivia F. Pat, high honor. Julie Nelson, honor. Janet Liberato, high honor. Laura R. Dana. Isaiah Dana, high honor. Daniel Rivas, honor. Arlen Janet, honor. Vanessa L. Davis, high honor. Eve Valente. Ruth Echevarria. Troy D. Dawson, honor. Tracy L. Jordan, high honor. Emily Agneto, honor. Sarah A. Osendoka, honor.
Courtney A. Logan. Erica Ann Martin. Wanda C. Gomez, honors. Ariana N. Carbaro, high honors. Amber R. DeFreeman, high honors. Annabelle Figueroa. Eric I. Daniel. Nathan L. Victor. Eduardo Lucas O'Brien, honors. Charlotte G. McDonald, high honors. Tiffany A. Cochran. Dwyer R. Quinn, honors. Ryan E. Silva. Christina L. Osborne, high honors. Tiffany J. Cruz. Barbie R. Ewan, honors. Heather Ann Figueroa. Regina Flynn, high honors. Carrie Ann Scott, honors. Melissa Acevedo. Eddie Ann Lopez Fria. Magdalene Morales. Patricia Hill, high honors. Rachel R. Ennis, high honors. Yvette Andriani. Sarah J. Martin. Yvette Perez.
Lauren Brown with high honor. Anita Castillo. Maya Benjamin. Sarah A. Picao, honor. Benedict Curtis, high honor. T. Washington, honor. Dean J. Levine. Amara J. Buchanan, high honor. Adam E. Gorham, honor.
Ryan R. Ernie. Lily R. Baumgartner, high honor. Omar G. Belko, honor. Marco A. Bizarelli, honor. Francisco Pedro. Dolores S. Gibbons. Samantha J. Harris. Jessica Waycott. Christopher N. McCloud. Tamara O. Montefiore, high honor. David C. Maccabian, honor. Sarah H. Reagan Kelly, high honor. Zachary P. Ryer, honor. Janelle B. Sanchez. Julie M. Santiago, honor. Carol E. Vargas, honor. Zachary Racine, honor. Anna M. Abreu Apollo. Bianca B. Santa, honor. Brennan J. Toomey, high honor. Deirdre R. Grant, honor. Caitlin R. Jacobs. Benjamin R. Moreau, honor. Nicholas A. Lisco. Teresa Hidalgo, honor. Daniel R. Batista, high honor.
Daniel J. Batista Central. Marisa B. Gomez, honor. Daniela Woodward. Samantha L. Chavez. Samantha M. Jackson, high honor. Angelica F. Emmanuel. Sarah M. Donahue, high honor. Francesca Consula, high honor. Timothy D. Giannacci. Randy Monteverde, honor. Marilyn Gonzalez. Nadia F. Hernandez. Eric A. Mann. Karim A. Rodriguez, honor. Salai E. Kula, honor. Serena F. Torres, honor. Rena Garner, honor. Xavier J. Reyes, honor. Catherine E. Halton, high honor. Daniela Mendes, high honor. Aida Ginogi, high honor. Rachel A. Sassion,
Reina M. Tejada, high honors. Shannon Brewer. Quinn T. Sutherland, honors. Sarah M. Crawford, high honors. Lauren E. Donahue, honors. Leah Field, high honors. Samira Pereira, honors. Serena R. Hilbert, high honors. Sarah J. Miller, high honors. Janet K. Levy, honors. Destiny I. Madera, high honors. Megan A. O'Connor, honors. Sierra Smith. Heather L. St. Brianna T. Vargas, honors. Vigna A. Aiden, honors. Jose S. Asensio, high honors. Tyler J. Coville, honors. Florida Boyer. Anel Batista Hernandez. Soraya A. Barrios, honors.
Jamie Johnson, high honors. James Flores, high honors. James Aaron Peter. Arlen A. Enriquez. Eric Antigua. Giovanna E. Morales, high honors. Juliana Gutierrez, high honors. Anthony Olivares, high honors. Nadia Osorio. Maria E. González Trejo, high honors. Amistad Severino, high honors. Jenny M. Sosa Pérez. Yamel Vázquez, honors. Mercy P. Gibson. Denisa M. Adorno, honors. Lacey M. Arias. Mary R. Arias, high honors. Brooke Ann Duchesne, honors. Saraya M. Perez, high honors. Destiny Duarte, honors. Elena L. Gonzalez, high honors. Mary E. Dine. Emily Gonzalez, high honors. Stephanie Dugan. Natalia Ellen Guzman Gonzalez, honors. Santiago J. Jimenez Castro, honors.
Joanne L. Justin, high honors. with Mary Morales Castro, high honors. Dennis H. Rodriguez, honors. Katie Rojas, honors. Tiffany K. Roman, honors. Viviana Estefan, high honors. Katie J. Sheridan, high honors. James N. Van Loon, high honors. Yadira Vasquez. Nicole M. Rogers, high honors. Elaine Espinal, high honors. Jeanette Vera, honors. Yenova Aquino, honors. Marjorie A. Bonanno, high honors. Wadowski Cruz, high honors. Darlene P. Medina, high honors. Patricia N. Pinera. Lisa C. Rondon, honors. Adela Vasquez, honors. Marisol Vera. Jessica P. Ballerstein, honors.
Ivy L. Bennett, honors. Henry L. Bernard, high honors. Diana Blunt G. Adraya Cobanero, honors. Karen F. Becker, high honors. Stephanie T. Richardson, high honors. Elizabeth American, high honors. Pamela Blackburn, high honors. Erin T. Rowe, high honors. And Rosalinda F. Quintana, honors.
Wow, what a group of talented graduates now in Northern Essex Community College alumni. We would like to thank the members of the Stewart Highland Pipe Band for their stirring performances this afternoon. Thank you very much. Would you please now rise? It is very important that the recessional keeps moving, so we ask that all guests, including our special guests in the first rows, remain at your seats until all of the graduates have exited the tent. Please note that the nursing pinning ceremony will follow the commencement ceremony in Lecture Hall A, which is in the Spurt building located to my left. Faculty and students who are seated on my left will exit the tent using the left aisle. Faculty and students seated on my right will exit double file down the center aisle. Congratulations to all of our graduates. Please, after the ceremony, stop by our reception. It's located on the grassy area between the Spurt building and the parking lot, right out here to my left. Enjoy refreshments and music performed by our talented jazz ensemble under the direction of Professor David Garcia. You can also pick up a gift there from the Alumni Association. One more time, please, as the band starts to play. How about a hand for our graduates?